Well, it's Logan, it's always a good day when you are in the presence of a champion, of a winner.
Yes.
And virtually we are in the presence of a champion, of winners.
It's
If
true.
you are listening to winners, to champions. If you're on YouTube, you can see I have a trophy in my hand because even though I tried to sabotage, we
That's
won
not
our
that's not
golf
completely
scramble.
true.
And so it was a great weekend for the hosts of the Rocky Top Rundown. Welcome on in. My name is Alec, and I don't usually sound this nasally. Allergies are still getting me. But on the other side is Logan. Logan, how are we feeling after a one-stroke victory in the Dalai Lama Invitational this
Oh, it
weekend?
feels great. It feels great. Never thought I'd win something in golf.
Yeah,
And then that I got to contribute, hit some good shots, made it even better.
yeah.
But from back to back last year's last place finishes in the first 2 years of the Invitational to winning it this year, it feels good. Have you gotten any more grief from anybody?
No, no. Actually, I saw some of the guys at Chick-fil-A. I was picking up dinner because my wife had a rough day with the baby, and they were all the banter that can happen. And I was like, listen, I had a terrible day because they on that final hole that everyone was watching, I missed the first putt, which was my whole day yesterday, and they're like, we really wanted you to make it, blah blah. And I said, listen, I had such a bad day that I teed off with a putter just to guarantee that we would have a shot at the green on our second shot on an elevated tee box in a par three. And they all went, it's actually a pretty good play. And I said, thanks, guys. That's how bad of a day it was. And then got lucky
Well,
on the next tee shot to honestly, was my shot the only playable shot?
I mean, I think mine and Gabe's kind of was because it was,
Okay.
but yes, basically yours was the only one.
So we
Yes.
got real lucky then. I didn't realize that till this moment. So, but yeah, it was overall not my best day. Honestly, one of the worst rounds of golf I've partaken in. But it was there's a lot going on, and I gotta plan better next year's invitational. That way I can focus more on the golf day of rather than trying to get everyone out on the course.
That is true. That is true. That's I think that's part of the problem. You weren't mentally focused leading up
I,
to the round.
yeah, no,
But
I wasn't. I'll
really,
own that.
the worst part about the putter play was the fact that I can't hit a par three green to save my life, and you putted one off the green, and I stuck one 8 feet from the hole, and
You did.
that hurt my soul.
I was confused on. We had all agreed that we were taking my shot out of the tee box because we had a rule in the invitational that you have to use. We did a four man. You have to use two of everyone's tee shots. So we'd already all agreed that we were going to use my shot out of this tee box, and everyone hit anyways. And Logan dotted this green out of the tee box, and it was tough because then we had like this green gave us all trouble, and I had a good chip up there. Brady had a good chip up there, and it's still, I mean, ended up being a 8-10 foot putt for par that Brady somehow got. Brady had a couple clutch putts down the down the
That's
down the
it.
stretch.
Yeah,
So right
was
after
a good
finding
day.
out his dog went to the ER, he said, "All right, let's look at our par putt." I said, "Oh," or our birdie putt. I said, "Oh, okay." So,
And then sunk
anyways,
the birdie putt, but
he
that's
sure did. It was
neither
like a
here nor there.
35 foot birdie putt uphill. So it was an incredible shot. I thought it was short. So, but yeah, Logan, we were not the only winners this weekend. Tennessee baseball goes out to OKC starting on a Thursday, and not even getting to finish Game Two until Saturday, early Saturday afternoon, when Game Three was supposed to be. But Tennessee goes out and wins the series against Oklahoma. They win Game One 9-7, Game Two 9-4, and then lose Game Three 12-9. It was pitching wise. It was. I feel like Blanco is pretty good. But outside of Blanco, I would say it was a relatively shaky weekend for everyone else on the mound. Coons did not look his best, but the pitching did enough. to get the job done and get the series win.
Yeah, I mean, really, Blanco wasn't great. Blanco's first 5 pitches were balls. Gave up 3 in the first. Now he righted the ship a whole lot easier than Coons did, but really neither one of them had their best stuff. But it was just impressive. They both battled their tails off, um, and did enough good things and did what they had to do to secure the win. Really, offense was the story this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Though, I mean, Tennessee's offense is hot. I want to say,
18
which they're getting
runs
hot.
across the series is phenomenal.
They're getting hot at the
Sorry,
right time, right? No, you're good.
27 runs across the series. I can't do math. They had 9 runs
Yeah,
every game.
yeah. So Tennessee's getting hot at the right time offensively, and I think that's really the story of the weekend is, um, especially Reese Chapman and Levi Clark are humming at the right
Yeah,
time. But I mean, everybody's kind of pitching in. So it's one of those things where the pitching is very much a question mark because once you get past Coons and Blanco and Arvidsson, it's very much like, what are you going to get? Even Appenzeller is, you're not the most confident thing in the world when
right.
Appenzeller goes up there. So, um, yeah, I just that's it was a good weekend overall. I hate that they
Yeah,
couldn't get the sweep, especially scoring 9 runs. That the bullpen was just that not good. It was that
yeah,
bad. But listen, you needed series wins. You went 5 for 5 or you went 5 and 5 in series in conference play this year. So you won 5, you lost 5.
right.
Um, so I don't think 6 weeks ago we would have thought this team was going to be in a situation they were,
Yeah,
but or the situation they currently are. But it was a big win. Maybe you make a run here at Hoover. I don't think you do because of your pitching,
right.
but maybe you make a run here at Hoover and slowly creep your way back into a hosting conversation if you can get 3 wins in Hoover or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's one of the things where you've at least done enough to set yourself up for a good draw, hopefully,
yeah,
in a regional.
yeah. And I think the other part with the offense is, I mean, the defense was not great this weekend in
No,
comparison to what it has been. You ended the
well, you're the
series
number one defense in the country.
right. You ended the series with 6 errors across all 3 games. So you average 2 errors a game, and some of that kept Oklahoma going. And when you're talking about your pitching struggling outside of your top 2 and top 3, I think when Mac is back, you'll have a solid option there.
Sure.
But your fielding can't get in the way of getting your pitchers out of jams, because not only that, in game 2, if you head into if you head into the because the delay was in the 7th inning, so you were only up what was that, 5-3 heading into the rain delay. If you're up 5-1, or up even 5-2, maybe you don't feel like you have to throw Arvidsson coming
Yeah,
back. And if you don't throw Arvidsson to close the game, you can then open with Arvidsson in game 3, and then maybe you have an opportunity to sweep. And those are going to be the things that could kill this team in the postseason, where everyone's got to be on top of their game. Grimmer struggled at second this weekend. He had at least 2 of the 6 errors this weekend, and you gotta be better. And so I was a little surprised by that, to just see these errors pop back up out of seemingly nowhere.
yeah. No, I mean I agree, and it felt like, and I don't know who all had errors. We didn't really get to watch the into game 2 and game 3
Correct.
yesterday because we were on the golf course. But um, Grimmer struggled because there was one. He had another one that he should have fielded that they changed to a hit because I guess it was hit so hard.
Right.
Um, but it could have very well been an error too. So I mean, I felt bad. I can't remember who the pitcher was yesterday. I'm sure we can look it up. But he came out after
The
2/3 of
starter.
an inning. I
You
mean,
talking
maybe
about
in the
Chandler
starter.
Day?
Yeah, came out after 2/3 of an inning and gave up 6 runs and only one of
Yeah.
them was earned.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
So it's like, um, yeah, I mean, if you're having to pitch with that, those kind of issues behind you, that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
What did you think? I'm curious because I go both ways. I see it both ways, and I don't necessarily think there was a right or wrong decision. But should they have even at 5-3? Should you throw Arvidsson or should you save him from game 3?
I
Because I mean,
think
you have the lead, and the most important thing is winning the series. So I get it
right,
from that standpoint that you want to throw him your best pitcher, make sure you win the series, and then game 3 you just figure it out. On the flip
right.
side of that, I mean, another win and you're not the 10 seed, you could have moved up to like the 6 or 7 seed.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you had more of a cushion, you could have gone somewhere else. But double headers are, we talked about this, they're all about momentum. So whoever gets momentum in the first one is going to carry it into the next one. And so I think if they were making the change on Friday night rather than Saturday afternoon, maybe you go a different direction. I think that may have played into it. Again, if you had more cushion. But I think because you were finishing the game before going into game 3 on Saturday, I think I would have gone with the safe bet, which is get your best arm available in Arvidsson, get the game shut down, and roll into game 3. Hope you build some momentum that you can carry in and go for the sweep. Which that's what we said on the golf course. We saw that they had won, and I said, oh, they're going to sweep because I didn't think they would have thrown Arvidsson.
Yeah.
And then you said, or Brady said,
Yeah, I
they threw
told you that they threw
Arvidsson, and I said, never mind, they're not going to sweep because if you get into a game where you're throwing the bullpen, you just don't have enough depth there
so.
to keep an offense down. Any of the offenses in the SEC or in really the country.
Now I give them credit. The fact that they gave up 6 in the first and battled back and lost 12-9, like it makes you feel a little bit better about that. Hey, our offense is clicking. Like
Right.
you can just get a decent effort from somebody. You give yourself a shot. And again, I don't even know. eh, And we're doing this without actually seeing it. We haven't had time for a rewatch or anything like
Right.
that. But it's one of those things where, I mean, shoot, was the pitching really that bad from the standpoint of poor Chandler Day gave up 600 runs?
Right.
So what happened to give up those runs? I mean, you still got to execute pitches and get outs and recover and pick your defense up and stuff. I get that.
Right.
Like I said, we haven't seen it, but the fact that there was enough errors or bad play, because I mean, I did see multiple comments from people yesterday that were Tennessee continue to help Oklahoma. I know
Yeah.
one run was off a wild pitch, so like Tennessee gave Oklahoma a lot of runs and helped Oklahoma a lot yesterday. So you know that may not. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that the bullpen's still not very good. There's still not a lot
Right.
of depth there.
But
But could you have
there
won the
is
game
one
yesterday?
piece.
You would have played right.
Right. But there is one piece of the bullpen that has been missing that I think hopefully he is building some momentum heading into postseason. I thought Bo Rudy was great on Friday night. He looked great coming in as your closer, and based on the box score, he had another great outing in Game 3. He had 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, and and that run being earned, but he faced 4 batters and threw 7 strikes, so he was effective, and I don't know when he came in, but I would assume he came in towards the end of the game.
But he did have an earned run.
Yes.
Yes, but see, like you can't have that. Like
Right.
if he's going to come in and be your closer, like a good outing is you're coming in and you like it's 3 up, 3 down. Maybe you give up a hit or a walk or something. Like you can't. If he's only going to face 3 or 4 batters, like you can't. He can't be giving up runs, and that's the issue with him. And
Right.
he was really good Thursday night, but that fastball's just so flat, dude. And it's not like it's pumping in there at 98,
Right.
pumping there at like 92. So
Right.
I mean, he's shown like I mean when Coons was so good in that April to early May stretch, like Rudy was too. So
Right.
he's shown flashes of being really good. He's just got to like, if that's the guy you want on the back end, he's going to be able to come in and not give teams hope.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. So the other part of it too is this offense. While it is good overall, there is still we got to make sure we also stay real in the fact that you had an opportunity to absolutely put game one out of reach without any concern on Thursday night and figured out a way to leave the bases loaded. You stranded three in the top of the ninth. And it started with a Blaine Brown at bat that honestly was pretty good. Ended with what appeared to be a wild pitch, but based on how Blaine Brown reacted, caused some conversation, and they decided he got hit because Blaine Brown turned around and got started taking his stuff off on a 2-2 pitch, and you give up you lose a run there, and then you have Stone Lawless and Garrett Wright come in to both strike out relatively quickly, not even have strong ABs, and that's stuff that you can't let that appear in moments like that in the postseason because you play a team better than Oklahoma, you're not coming back.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I think that there's the offense is definitely getting better. I don't want to put too much stock into it because Oklahoma's pitching staff is not great. Texas's pitching staff is better. We talked about them being like a top 3, definitely top 5 pitching staff in the SEC. So, but it's been growing, and the encouraging part of it is that it is happening series wide now. Whereas a couple series, Ole Miss, LSU, Kentucky, it didn't show up until Sunday morning, and now it's showing up in game 1 and 2, and that's really encouraging heading into the postseason. So,
Well,
Logan,
does this make you feel better? So, just to give you a breakdown of their runs, in their first 17 games, Tennessee scored 92 runs in the SEC. So the
this is
SEC
just
games,
SEC play.
yeah,
Okay.
they scored 92 runs in their first 17 SEC games, which is 5.4 runs per game.
Okay.
In their final 13 SEC games, the 4 less games, like they scored a total of 108 runs.
Yeah.
Which is 8.3 runs per game, and that is including the 2 games against Kentucky, where they only scored 4 runs total.
Right. Because
So
that would have picked up. Because that would have picked up starting Ole Miss
Mississippi
Sunday.
State or Ole Miss, yeah,
Ole Miss Sunday.
So, I mean, it's trending up since that Sunday at Ole Miss. So this has been a month-long thing where the offense has been substantially better.
Yeah.
So.
And what would you say has been the biggest difference in the offense since maybe the Ole Miss series?
The length of your lineup. Clark has been really good in SEC play. Blaine Brown's taking better at bats. Manny Marin's taking better at bats. And then that's what that Ole Miss time was when Reese Chapman was a little bit of a slump, and now he's back over 300.
Yeah.
So I think those 3 guys especially, because again, it is well known about how I feel about. I don't want to hate on the kid, but my thoughts on Blake Grimmer, or how much confidence I have in him. But like his numbers have said, he's been one of the leading hitters all year.
Yeah.
So I don't think it starts with him. But Reese has been better. Obviously, Levi's been a lot better. And then, Blaine Brown being better at the bottom. I think those are the really big ones as to why the offense has been better. And but in really the bottom of the lineup, like the Mississippi State series, the bottom of the lineup did all the damage.
Correct.
So those guys like Marin and Brown, Reese Chapman's more of a middle lineup guy. But Marin and Brown, and I'm forgetting somebody. Who am I forgetting?
Well, I mean,
I guess whoever's catching.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, well, and it depends too. Like if Garrett Wright is catching, then Jay Abernathy hasn't been bad in the bottom of the lineup. But getting Stone Lawless is also kind of because Stone Lawless came back in the Ole Miss series, did he not, or did he come back in Alabama?
Alabama.
Okay.
And then Trent Grindlinger's been their best hitter.
Yeah.
And he's been officially the DH since right before Mississippi State. So
correct, and that's been a big lift.
But yeah, so I think it's been a group effort because our lineup is so much longer. But I mean, I would say Chapman and Brown being a little bit better, and then Grindlinger being the everyday DH has been a huge deal.
No, you're right. So, and if you like that, if you like what you've seen on the field, I'm sure you like this podcast. And so I would love it if you would like, rate, subscribe, share all the things with the podcast because it costs you absolutely nothing but helps us tremendously. And we're having a good time. We're having fun, and it's helped that the baseball team has gotten more fun to watch. And so, Logan, let's look ahead to what the baseball team has waiting for it. Looking at the bracket for Hoover, starting on Tuesday, Tennessee will play South Carolina, and that is a team that I don't know how they finished better than Missouri because I guess we just made Missouri look like the an incredible team just for them to be absolutely nothing. But they finished 15th. They're 7-23 in conference play. Uh, they are on a current 12-game losing streak. They have been swept 4 straight times.
Oh no.
So perfect recipe for Tennessee to go out and
I
win this
know.
game.
That's what I'm worried about.
So we'll start there before we look any further. I mean, Logan, are you concerned at all with
Yes,
South
because I'm a
Carolina?
Tennessee fan.
Okay,
Yes. But I mean, they should. I mean, they should be South Carolina. I'm curious. Part of it will be I'm curious to see. Do you throw Tegan Coons? You throw a bullpen arm?
right,
Like, what do you do?
right.
Because I
What
almost
would you
think,
do?
well, as six. What do you play Tuesday, Thursday? For I don't know.
Like my
Because you
question
have to play.
is, would you like you're not going to move your seed line unless you go deep into Hoover. You know that's unlikely. So if you are Elander, do you just go out there and say, all right, Krenzel or Mac or which Mac's probably I would say Mac just to get
Max should
him.
not pitch at Hoover the whole week.
Okay, fine. All right, fine, not Mac. But Krenzel, Appenzeller, Arvidsson, go out there and get right. Get right against SEC competition that's not great before we head into our regional and just see what happens. And if you win, then continue whatever. Or, like, if you do that, I see the value in losing on Tuesday, getting it out of the way, and then getting a full week of practice.
Yeah.
Because weather should be, I don't know what it looks like there. I know we have a little bit of rain in the forecast here in Nashville for the week, but you could get some more reps of practice before you head into your regional, and you could also get rest to let guys heal and things like that. Like you you would have to. I think you'd have to make the SEC championship game to move from a 2 seed line to hosting a regional, and I just don't know that that's worth it. Not with this year's team.
Yeah, because that would put you at 19 wins if you got to the championship game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think. I'd be curious to see because I mean, if you throw Blanco or Coons, you're throwing them on short rest.
Right.
Especially Blanco. Blanco's off the table. There's no way Evan Blanco's pitching Tuesday.
I wouldn't throw Coons.
Coons
I
would
just
be
don't see
short.
it being worth it.
No, I mean, well, I mean, but at the same time, you want him to throw if you get the opportunity a little bit because you don't. I mean, you don't necessarily want 2 weeks in between starts either.
Fair.
Um, uh, you don't throw him Tuesday. I could see them throwing Coons on Wednesday versus if you win Tuesday and play Texas, and then going from there. Coons Tuesday or Wednesday, Blanco Thursday. You have an off day on Friday. If you were to win, you wouldn't play Friday,
Right.
and then Saturday you would play,
Right.
and then that would be like a Arvidsson or somebody like that maybe. I don't know. I think, but strictly talking about South Carolina on Tuesday, I would love to see Braden Krenzel get the start. Throw
Yeah.
Krenzel out there, see what happens, see if you can get him right. You know, Krenzel. I don't really want to like the freshmen haven't worked. Not that Krenzel has, but the freshman hadn't worked. So at least let Krenzel go start and see what happens
Right. Well, and so let's say they win South against South Carolina.
against a bad team.
They have Arkansas waiting for them, which don't love that. And now this is not an Arkansas team of old that we've been used to. They're in a slump, air quotes there, of a year in comparison. So
Yeah.
that's not an easy draw. You're going up against a very seasoned coach, and so that's but still a team without a national championship in baseball. Just make sure that's known. And if you were to beat Arkansas, you would then get Texas on Friday. And if you were to beat Texas, you would most likely get Auburn or A&M to go to the SEC championship game. And I don't know. I just at that point I'm just like, man, like is it worth it? Is it worth pushing that? Like, because the win against South Carolina is not going to do anything, and I don't know that the loss against South Carolina is going to do much. Same thing with Arkansas. Like, I don't think it's going to affect, because I don't know how RPI looks at, how the metrics look at these tournaments. They can't do too much, I would think, but it's I just I would just think that the argument is very much there to just get out of Hoover as fast as possible. Maybe you play Wednesday, you win. You play Wednesday, you get out. I don't see the benefit in staying in Hoover much past Friday.
Oh, well, if you can make it past Friday, there's a benefit from the standpoint of you very much could
Well,
work
I
your way
guess that's
onto a
fair.
hosting conversation.
Yeah.
But I would not destroy my chances in the regional to try to keep winning at Hoover. Like, if you get to Thursday or Friday, depending on how the schedule shakes out, and you play, like, yeah, you're probably going to throw Teagan. Go try to win it. You're here. Go try to win it. You can have him on normal rest, you know, for the next week. Same thing with Blanco, but you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna just kill yourself either. Just trying to win in Hoover when you're pretty much solid. You're really solid seeding at a 2 seed. Like, you're not going to fall to a 3. You've pretty much gotten yourself to a 2 now because you've been winning series. Um, that being said, if you could win on Tuesday and Wednesday and make sure you're one of the top 2s for number 1 to get you a easier 1 seed, but also because they're doing it in a much better way now, and this year they're seeding 1 through 32. So in the past, before this year, they only seeded the national 1 seeds 1 through 16,
Okay.
and then they don't seed anybody else. So then, if you have then all these the regionals turn into the super regionals, where in the bracketed, the regional winners play each other in the supers.
Right.
So in the past, before this year, if a 2 seed in one region and a 2 seed in another region won, and that was the regions that were matched up to play in the supers,
Yeah.
you just decided based on basically money. Like, that's why Tennessee had to go play at Southern Miss 2 years ago,
Right.
because Southern Miss had a slightly larger capacity crowd
Okay.
or stadium, and so that's why they picked Southern Miss.
Gotcha.
So there was no merit to anything. They just basically did that. Now they're seeding 1 through 32, so you're seeding all your 1s and all your 2s, and
Right.
so then the higher 2 seed gets to be the host of the super.
Right.
So there's still something to be said to try to get as high a rank seeding as possible, because if you're a 2 versus a 2, you want to get that home field advantage for the supers.
Right.
So
Which
they're like,
go ahead.
I'm just saying, there's still some merit in playing in Hoover this week because you can improve stuff a little bit.
Right. And yes, you're right. I'm not. It's the balance of it, right? Because it's like,
No, there's absolutely a balance.
if
You don't
you
want to destroy your shot and your arms and everything for the regional next week just to go win in Hoover when you're probably not making a run all the way to Sunday anyways,
correct.
and it doesn't help you a whole lot.
Right. So and so maybe it is just play Tuesday, Wednesday, let the lost Arkansas happen, and move on. It just
Hey, go compete. If you can go win, go keep winning.
Yeah, that's fair. If you can throw whatever arms out there and your offense just keeps exploding, then let it be. You
But
know.
it's nice. You've done enough to where you don't have to win it all in Hoover, so you don't
Correct.
have to. If you get to Thursday, then you pitch Coons. He's on
Right.
full rest. He would be on full rest for the regional the next week.
Yeah.
Get to Friday or Saturday. Same thing with Blanco. You can keep him on full rest. Then just play it like normal, and whatever happens, happens.
Right.
But you're not gonna like, you don't want to mess your whole, all your bullpen and all your arms up on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. So, looking at the projections, just looking around, nothing's been updated based on this weekend yet, but still a lot of projections for the Tennessee to end up in Atlanta. And USA Today has them in Chapel Hill against North Carolina. I I mean it that neither one of those are great draws, but like I feel worse for Georgia Tech and UNC than I do for Tennessee, just with how things are going right now.
Yeah, I just don't want that Georgia Tech reason. I'm trying to avoid Georgia Tech.
Right.
But Tennessee fans will travel to Atlanta. That would be.
Correct. I think they would travel to Chapel Hill. I mean, that's
Oh
like
no, they
what.
would. They would.
So I think that it would be great to get work done this weekend or this week, sorry, so that you're ready for next weekend. And potentially even in a better spot. Like, in who knows? I mean, I don't see how they could move up any further. I just don't see them getting into a host spot
No,
outside
I mean
of
you have to
playing.
make a run.
Yeah, which you would have to get through Texas to get to Saturday, and I mean
They're
that
probably gonna throw what's his face again.
yeah, but
Um,
you've already gotten the best of him in the last two times you batted against him. So it's. But I could also see Texas just going out there and throwing whoever just to get out of there because they've got their host locked up, and I don't know if they're on. I think they're locked for hosting a super regional as well. I think they'll be a top 8 seed, so they really don't have much to lose, and so who knows? But Logan, let's roll ideal scenario for this week. Final hopes for the baseball team as they head to Hoover. What do you want to see? How many games do you want them to play? And yeah, what's you are in Elander's shoes. What do you want to see happen?
I mean, I want them to go win the whole thing. I mean, they're not going to,
Right,
but I mean, that's what I would like because I mean, if you go win the whole thing, you probably are in the hosting conversation.
right,
And if you won the whole thing, it's like we've talked about, you haven't messed up everything right because, like, you can just throw those guys normal.
right,
Um, but I don't want to see Landon Mack this week. Hoover's not important enough to pitch Landon Mack.
right,
I mean, you're talking about if you wait another week and then you have him for a regional, he's got a month between starts. Like then
right,
hopefully he's fine.
right.
Um, but no, I
Do
mean,
we know if he's throwing at all right
I
now?
think he is a little bit. I think he
Okay.
is a little bit. Just I don't want, just don't lose to South Carolina on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Don't. That's the big one. Don't lose to South Carolina, and then just see what happens. I hate Arkansas baseball. I really don't want them to lose Arkansas baseball. So at like worst case scenario, I just hope they win Tuesday and Wednesday, and then let Texas do what Texas does or whatever. Which you
Right.
won the series against Texas.
Yeah.
You can score on Texas.
Yep.
Galantis is probably going to pitch. You would have to think the law of averages is going to say that you're not going to beat him 3 times in a row.
Right.
That being said, maybe you beat him 3 times in a row, and the law of averages is you won't beat him 4 times in a row. I don't know.
Right.
So, but yeah, I at least realistically, I just want them to win Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Get a couple more wins under your belt. Get some at bats to where you still have plenty of time off before your regional, but you're not sitting for 12 days between regional.
Right.
Because pitching, that could help a little bit, maybe. I don't want our batters having 12 days off. Our hitters having 12
Right.
days off.
No, that's fair.
So, you're hot. Keep it get as many games in between now and then as you can.
Right.
Would be my preference,
Yeah.
which
And
could be way wrong.
no, I mean, I would imagine that the offense will continue against South Carolina's pitching staff because to get swept 4 straight series is you've got to be pretty pretty poor as a pitching staff to be able to do. I mean, that's impressive
Well,
to
the
not
good
have
thing
a
is,
win.
the good thing is that if they're that bad, they're basically on the level of some of these midweek teams you've been playing.
Yeah,
And there's only one team in the country that's undefeated in the midweek this year.
well, that's true.
That's the Tennessee Vols.
That's true. Yeah, their most thrown arms, their top 3 most thrown. They have an ERA of 4.39, 4.64, and 5.19. So similar to Oklahoma's pitching So you should be able to keep things moving. Their error count on the defensive side of things, they have 68 errors. I don't know where that ranks in the conference, but that is not good. That's close to Alabama as far as the amount of errors.
Yeah.
So you should be able to get on this team, get out of there. Pitching wise or hitting wise, they're not just incredible. They're average. Looking at their team average is 234, but looking at their most hit guys, their top at bats, their ranking, around the 250, 260 area for their top four. So they've got some hitters, but shouldn't be anything that Tennessee's not ready for.
No, for sure.
I think I agree with you. If you can get in there, get 2 wins, get your SEC win total up to 17 on the year, I mean, you would still be, depending on what happens in other conference tournaments, you could flirt with that host conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think it would happen if you ended 17 and 16. I don't think you would have a
No.
shot, but you would at least be in the conversation, which is incredible considering where you were. But also this, to that point, do you want to pitch Coons and then not pitch Blanco? If you were to get to Friday and like it looks like if it's just like, man, like we don't have it today, like when you pull Coons, are you throwing in Blanco just to make sure Blanco gets run,
No, no,
or
no, no, no,
do you
no.
just let him sit for 12,
Yeah.
12
Yeah, that's
days?
just what it is. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Hey, the Vols love Hoover. So there's
That
been
is
some
true.
magic in Hoover the last couple years. Last year being Texas when you really shouldn't have. The year before going out and winning it. Crazy things happen for the Vols when they are in Hoover. So who knows what can happen? But it's definitely exciting to see that the offense is growing. It's getting momentum at the right time. This team is peaking at the right time, which is all you can ask for as a coach and as a fan and as a player.
Sure.
Like, you know, you
Sure.
you you want to be peaking at this point, and you'll take the frustrations earlier in the year if it means you're playing your best ball when it counts.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
all right, Logan. Anything else for baseball this week?
No, what time do they play Tuesday? I haven't even looked.
4:30, I believe, is what it said.
4:30. Okay.
I went away from that screen, but yeah, I think it's 4:30 Central. I'll just pull it back up. It is 4:30 p.m. All Game Central. So yes. Um, so interesting. Okay. Okay, I see. Never mind. I understand how this works. Yeah, so 4:30 they'll start then, because they do it just like they do with basketball. So session one will be uh, probably over by 2 p.m. And then they'll start at 4:30. So 5:30 Eastern for those of you in the lesser time zone. So, but anyways, Logan, we will get back together in the midweek, probably, hopefully, talking about how Tennessee. Uh, we probably won't record until after they play Arkansas, so we'll know where things are and may touch on that, or talk about something else. We'll just see how the week goes. So appreciate you all for listening. We'll catch you next time. See ya.